So here we have a used 2018 Chevy Impala. Now this one comes in the Premier trim level and blue velvet metallic. And then we have jet black leather interior. For the powertrain, we get that 3.6 liter naturally aspirated V6 made it to a 6-speed automatic transmission. And then we're just gonna see how this one's held up with almost 90,000 miles on it. As we get to the front end here, I always love that design. We get those LED signature running lights down there. I believe that's an LED housing around the headlamp. And then I think this was the first design that had the halogen bulbs. And I'm thinking right before they discontinued this car, they might have had HIDs in the top trim level or on a certain headlight design, but still a good looking front end in my opinion. Now here we have 19-inch aluminum wheels, passive keyless entry on all 4 doors. This did have that 4G Wi-Fi hotspot early on compared to the newer model. So power door lock controls are here, power windows, electronic child lock, rear window lock, and then power mirror controls here. Bose sound system, electronic parking brake, press in to engage, or excuse me, press in to disengage when your foot's on the brake, pull out to engage. And then the trunk release is there, parking sensors. Then we have a little pocket in here, manual tilt and telescoping steering wheel, the release is there, hood release. There's our power driver seat with power lumbar support. This is always kind of a weird cabin because of how the seat is. So that's how I have my seat adjusted for someone being 6'3", my driving position. So I'm kind of seated up quite a bit, even though I feel like I'm leaning back too far. But next, let's go ahead and hop in the back and check out this leg room. So no surprise here, pretty good leg room. These are just barely grazing the back of the seat. When I sit all the way back, they're not touching the back at all. And I still have about an inch or so of headroom even with this hood on. Seat back pockets on both sides. 123-prong household plug-in, rear AC vents. Middle seat folds down, bottle holders are there. And sorry, it's a little dark outside, but top tethers. Now I'm impressed we get the LED reading lights back here and then a little hook to hang our shirts or pants depending on whatever we have there. And then child lock is electronic, so I don't know why I was looking for that there. About time for me to go home. But to the back end, love having that rear bumper there, the integrated exhaust there. And then we can just hit that button. Of course, with this being an Impala, just a plethora of space back here. And let's see if I can get in here to pull this up. There's a spare underneath there. That is heavy. Now coming back around to the rear passenger side, if you ever want to fold the seats down, just come up here, pull that latch, folds flat. You can run longer objects there. Easy to lock it back into place. And our bottom anchors are right there. Not too difficult to get to. And then we do have a power front passenger seat with lumbar support, so that's always nice. Glove compartment with owner's manuals there. So I have noticed that some of the doors are starting to creak just a little bit. Might need some WD-40, but that's an issue I see in these and the Envisions a lot. And there's that 3.6 V6. I'm hearing a weird ticking in there. Hoping this engine isn't about to go out. There's probably just some plastic flapping around. But I have read some things online about the engines in these not necessarily being the best. I just found it out like a week or two ago, so I don't know how trustworthy the info is, but that is something that I've heard, specifically in the Traverses and Enclaves, things of that nature. So some I've heard go 200,000 miles, others I've heard go 80,000 miles and they need new motors. But there's the leather wrap steering wheel. Now I think these had an option for heat later on, or maybe with a package, but this one doesn't have that here. We don't have the cooled seats either. So over to the radio, we do get AM, FM, XM, Bluetooth audio, and then we also have wired CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. Navigation systems here built in. Now I remember the presets here, and I love this, just being able to go through those, and then also just finding a station, holding that button, and then you could just save it that way. So that was always fun to do. And then you could hit this button, storage behind there, you can plug in a USB if you want to. Surprised that's, well, I shouldn't say I'm surprised it's still working, but it's cool that that's still working. You can change your language there, time and date, all of that. Backup camera here with guidelines that follow you to turn the steering wheel. And then you do have the option for different apps you can set up, XM traffic, XM weather. And volume is here, click that to mute, you can hold it to power the system down. You can go through the menu here. Well, yeah, you can go through the menu there, and then once you're in there, you can use it as a tune knob for audio, or you can seek here, and then again, change your media there. CD drive, surprise, surprise, so that's there, we can eject there. And then we do have dual zone climate control, so we can set the auto there, sync there, or adjust either side. Fan speed can be toggled, or we can cut the whole system off by hitting that button. Then we can choose fan direction using one of these buttons here, and then the defrosters are right there. Now this one did have a wireless charging pad, so there's the pad for that there. Bottle holders, heated seat functions are here. You can either heat the seat back or the seat back and seat bottom, 3 stages for the driver, front passenger. Traction control toggle is here. And for the shifter, pull the lever, reverse, neutral drive. You have that manual mode, and then you can shift from the shifter there up or down. It'll show you what gear you're in that bottom right-hand corner of the digital gauge cluster. Center console cubby space, decent size. I love the light in there. It's super bright and it projects out the whole storage compartment. You can see there's a 12 volt in there, and then 2 USB-A ports and an aux. Here's a view of the back. Love having these LED dome lights here. Garage door transmitter. Vanity mirror. And then back to the steering wheel. Blinkers are behind. Headlamps can be turned on. Auto can be toggled there. And then we can turn the high beams on or off there. Flash here. And then windshield wiper controls, one time off, intermittent low high. We can adjust that intermittent here and then pull up here for the front wiper fluid. Hazards are right there. And then we do have the radio station favorites or track list that can be controlled behind here. And I like that on the digital gauge cluster, you can actually go through them and see what's going on there. And then behind on the right side, volume up, volume down. Cruise is here. We can toggle that on or off, cancel, adjust speed, and then voice recognition, mute. And we can use these 4 arrows and that check to go through the gauge cluster here. So tons of different options, including your tire pressure monitors. And then we can actually go to the options and we can decide to go change our units from US to metric, or we can change what's on the info pages here and edit that list. So I feel like it's a simple car, but it's just, there's a lot in there. It's everything that you need, in my opinion. Push button start, key fob with remote start. But next, let's go ahead and take this Impala Premier with the V6 out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in this Impala Premier, the V6 seems to have held up pretty nicely. The 6-speed is shifting as it should so far. I feel like the ride quality is decent. And it is pretty quiet in here so far. But we'll see how it holds up getting on the interstate here momentarily. So I remember when the Impala Premiers came out, I just liked the front end on these, just having that nice, almost futuristic looking front fascia there, having the halo lights around the headlamps, having those LED running lights. It just looked really good. I'm gonna try and find space to put my foot into it getting on the interstate. We'll get a little pull here. So very good pull from the engine. I feel like there's a little vibration in the steering wheel here, but other than that, it's just the power is there. Try another pull here. Yeah, acceleration is very, very good. Now with the 6-speed, it doesn't shift necessarily where you'd expect it to shift, but not really a big issue. It's just something you're used to having the 6-speed automatic. It's not gonna shift like an 8-speed or a 10-speed. And it's actually pretty quiet in here. Ride quality is good, other than what I'm feeling in the steering wheel again. And then just a slight hiss from the brakes here. Just some maintenance things that need to be taken care of, I think. Not necessarily that they need to be taken care of, but I can hear just a slight screech from the brakes. And now it's gone, so it might have just been where this has been sitting. Now, new, these cars were, I want to say 35 to 40 grand. And it's nice to be able to get one of these pre-owned. This one's like 16,811, so $17,000 before taxes. It's nice that everything's still working here. And at Chevrolet Buick GMC of Murfreesboro, if you are worried about the 6-speed automatic or this 3.6 liter V6 giving you trouble down the road for anything, as long as you maintain the car as you should, if the engine were to blow up or whatever, you'd be covered under warranty to have that fixed, which is always nice to have that from a dealership, just provided to you at no extra cost. And then of course you could get an extended warranty if you want to get a bumper to bumper or something along those lines. But all in all, I mean, it's driving nicely. It reminds me of when these came out and I just was, now my favorite car back probably around 15 to 20 was the Cadillac CT6. And this is probably my second or third favorite were these Impala Premiers. Mostly for the looks, but also just for the luxury that you're able to get for the price point. And this still feels luxurious to this day. Again, the ride quality is still there, still fantastic. The power is there with this V6. And the tech is here too for 2018, having Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, navigation, blind spot monitors. Just feel like you get a lot, especially today for the money, getting this used at around $17,000. But then just having that futuristic front fascia there with the halo lights around the headlamps, and then having those signature LED lights as well. But if you're looking for something under $20,000 that looks nice, feels nice, you don't see a lot of them around now, definitely make sure you take a look at this 2018 Chevy Impala in the Premier trim level.